Attention Los Angeles residents. Your city council just voted to make your city even more dangerous. Let me show you exactly what they just gave away. Once again, they've been trying since 2020. They've furthered this attack on proactive policing in the city of Los Angeles. They are going after pretext traffic stops. Now, a pretext traffic stop is literally the backbone of proactive policing. That's when you're on patrol and you see a car with a busted taillight full of gangsters and you pull them over because you have a legal reason on that traffic violation. And then you start talking to them. You start running their names. You start seeing who's in the car, checking for warrants. If they are on probation or parole, you're searching them and getting guns off the street that are about to go get used in a violent manner. Pretext traffic stops are the way cops prevent crime. Otherwise, you are completely left with cops responding to crime after it occurs, which means you're just a victim. And in a city where you can't carry a gun, that's not a great look. So they voted last night 14-0. Not one of them stood up to it. Somebody was absent, but not one of them voted against this. They're all terrified of the left. So this council motion originated in June of 2020. So it's a George Floyd thing. They've still been messing with this for 6 years, okay? 6 years of body cams showing that cops aren't racist killers. 6 years of facts coming out. On all of these cases, the left spins up that are anti-police. So what it actually says, the motion directs the police commission to prohibit officers from stopping motorists, bicyclists, or pedestrians for minor violations, except in cases where the violation poses a significant and imminent safety risk. Council President Harris-Dawson, who wrote this ridiculous motion, said on record, and I'll quote, "I know the amount of people that they catch, burglars and many other things through traffic stops. That doesn't make it a just or rational policy." He knows it works. He killed it anyway. Now, look, this is not law yet. There is a little bit of time, but I'm not very optimistic that it's not going to become law. Here's why. This now goes to the Civilian Police Commission of Los Angeles, who's all appointed by the mayor. Karen Bass, do you think there's anything other than leftists on that commission? If they vote it, that's it. No more proactive policing in Los Angeles. Good luck with that. Let's break down some numbers so we know what we're actually giving away and what we're talking about while we're giving away the core of keeping someone safe from criminals in Los Angeles. Okay, this is a 3-year period of LAPD traffic stops. I'll give you some numbers. Total LAPD traffic stops over a 3-year period, 760,000. That's a lot of stops. Pretextual stops is only 9% of those stops, 68,000. So we're talking about 68,000 pretext stops in that 3-year period. Pretext stops that found drugs, guns, or warrants, 30%. 30% of pretext stops in Los Angeles resulted in finding drugs, guns, or warrants. So you're telling me that doesn't work? I don't get it. Pretext stops that end in a warning only is about 67%. So they're not doing anything wrong. They don't even get the traffic violation half the time. They get a warning and they're on their way. Let's talk more about proactive policing. All right, if you lose proactive policing out there, I'm telling you, this is a dystopian, violent, chaotic future that we all will share. And if Los Angeles does it, other cities will follow. Here's what proactive policing does. You get a car full of gangsters with a taillight out, right? You pull them over. The driver's on probation. You pull him out to do a search. You find a gun in his waistband. Guess what? Maybe he's going to go do a drive-by. You prevented a crime from a busted taillight. That's what they want to take away. Now do another pretext stop where someone else is on probation or they get permission to search the car and they find fentanyl. How many overdoses does that keep from happening? How about you pull a car over for expired reg and you run a passenger in the backseat's name who gives it to you, and he's got a assault with a deadly weapon warrant. Maybe you'll keep them from assaulting someone else while they're in custody. You take this tool away, cops go reactive. All they're going to do is sit in parking lots, and really, the anti-police sentiment is pushing them that way already. There's not as many people being proactive out there, and can you blame them? But the ones who are will not be able to be proactive. And I promise you, the percentage of proactive cops in these big cities or anywhere where they're treated like this in these blue places is drastically reducing every year. What you'll be left with is 911 responders. Someone gets shot, cool. We'll show up, put some tape up, take some pictures, talk to some witnesses who will tell us they saw nothing, and get out of there. Cool, you get robbed? Okay, what'd he look like? Where'd he go? How much was it? Okay, see you later. Completely reactive policing is just documenting crime stats, okay? Because let's face it, you give it to a detective, they solve it, put a warrant in the system. How are you going to get that warrant? You're not going to get them on a proactive stop. It's worthless. LA is trying to give the criminal the advantage, even more than they already have. Look, California restricts your right to carry concealed and protect yourself. You can't legally do that. It's very difficult to get a CCW in LA County. What are you left with? If the cops aren't helping you or protecting you and you can't carry, the officer out there was supposed to be the equalizer, at least taking a swing at getting some of these people off the street before they hurt you. That's going away. Now that officer can't stop that car that's rolling dirty with a gun under the seat or a pound of fentanyl in the trunk. That's gone too. And if you think the criminals aren't paying attention to this, if you think the criminals won't know if this policy goes into effect, do you think can you imagine how much worse this is going to get when all the criminals know they can't be stopped for proactive stops? For a pretext stop, for the taillights, if they're only driving dangerously. Can you imagine? There will be no fear of being caught for anything. People with warrants will drive around and do whatever they want. Why would you even have a driver's license if you're not going to be stopped and checked? So you're going to have just chaos out there. People with more guns, with more drugs, with fugitives just rolling around the streets. That's what LA wants for you. They're trying to make this about race because guess what? There's more crime in South Central LA than there is in other parts of LA. And South Central LA is full of mostly non-white people. So they're trying to make it about race because cops are being proactive and trying to actually protect the people that live there. It's not about race. It isn't about traffic tickets. It's about who gets emboldened when they take away the ability for cops to do their job and what that means to the residents you're supposed to protect. Let's talk about some traffic stops that changed history that would be illegal under this new law they're trying to pass in LA. I've got 4 examples, okay? How about the Oklahoma City bomber, Timothy McVeigh, caught 77 minutes after the blast, less than 80 miles away. A state trooper pulled him over for missing a tag and wrote him a ticket. They took that data and were able to identify him and make the case based on that ticket. 1990, this happened in Arizona. There was a semi truck parked on the shoulder. A state trooper did a welfare check, which would not be allowed to do this kind of stop because it's pedestrian, bicyclist, or driver, right? Would not be able to do that. They did a welfare check on a semi truck, found a nude woman handcuffed and gagged in the cab alive. And it turns out the suspect was a serial killer with 50 plus murders by a pretext stop. Let's go to 1993 in New York. A stop for no rear license plate. New York State troopers out in Long Island. The suspect ran, ends up crashing. A decomposing body was found in the truck bed, wrapped in a tarp. This guy confessed to 17 murders, and it was solved from a missing plate stop. Let's take it back to the 70s. Ted Bundy, the serial killer, stopped 3 times on traffic enforcement. They recovered rope, handcuffs, crowbars, the pantyhose he used on his face, all found on traffic stops. 30 plus confirmed murders. Every single one of these arrests is a cop paying attention to the little things. The criminals in LA already know what this means. It's time to wake up the residents. Look, if you're an LA resident or no one, tell them about this. Have them contact the police commission. If this passes, you're screwed.